Simpler. What if I told you most of your problems don't come from the situation itself, but from how you react to it? In a world full of pressure, chaos, and unexpected challenges, the real power belongs to the person who stays calm when everyone else is losing control. Because emotions are powerful. They can lift you to heights you never imagined or pull you into depths you never intended to reach. One moment of anger can destroy years of relationships. One moment of impatience can ruin opportunities meant for you. One moment of fear can stop you from becoming everything you were created to be. And the truth is, it's not the emotion itself that harms you, it's what you do with it. You feel anger, but do you let it speak for you? You feel sadness, but do you let it define you? You feel fear, but do you let it stop you? Every day, you are being tested in ways you don't even notice. A harsh word from someone, a delay in your plan, a situation that doesn't go your way. These are not just random events, they are moments where your character is being shaped. There is a reason patience is praised so deeply in religion. Because patience is not weakness, it is strength under control. It is the ability to hold your tongue when your ego is screaming to respond. It is the ability to trust when everything around you feels uncertain. Allah tests the hearts He wants to elevate. And sometimes the test is not about what you can achieve, but about what you can control within yourself. You may not be able to control people. You may not be able to control circumstances, but you can always control your response. And that response is everything. When you lose control of your emotions, you lose clarity. You say things you regret. You make decisions you can't undo. You allow temporary feelings to create permanent damage in your life. But when you learn to pause, when you learn to breathe, when you remind yourself that Allah is watching, that every reaction is being recorded, that every moment of patience is being rewarded, something changes inside you. You begin to act with awareness instead of impulse. You begin to realize that silence can be stronger than words, that walking away can be braver than reacting, that holding back your anger can be more powerful than expressing it. This is where real strength lies, not in raising your voice, but in lowering your ego, not in reacting instantly, but in responding wisely. Because emotional control is not about suppressing what you feel, it's about mastering it. It's about feeling everything, but choosing what deserves your reaction. And the more you practice this, the more you grow. The more you detach from chaos. The more you become someone who is not easily shaken by the world. A person who is calm in the middle of storms is a person who has built something strong within themselves, because the one who cannot control their emotions becomes a slave to every situation, every person, every word, and slowly loses themselves in reactions they never truly chose. Because when chaos enters a situation, most people don't think they react. Their vision becomes narrow, their judgment becomes clouded, and suddenly every challenge feels like a dead end. But the one who remains calm sees differently. They don't just see the problem, they see what's hidden inside it. Where others see pressure, they see potential. Where others see failure, they see feedback. Where others see an ending, they see a beginning that hasn't been understood yet. Calmness gives you clarity. And clarity is what separates those who stay stuck from those who move forward. Think about it. When your mind is overwhelmed, you don't look for solutions. You look for escape. You panic, you doubt, you hesitate. And in that state, even the smallest obstacle feels impossible. But when your mind is still, something shifts. You begin to observe instead of react. You begin to think instead of assume. You begin to act with purpose instead of emotion. And that's where opportunity reveals itself. Every problem carries something within it, a lesson, a direction, a hidden door. But only a calm mind has the patience to look deeper. Only a calm heart has the strength to wait, to analyze, to trust that there is more to the situation than what appears on the surface. This is why not everyone succeeds, not because opportunities are rare, but because clarity is rare. Most people are too busy reacting to see what's really in front of them. But when you train yourself to stay calm, especially when everything inside you wants to panic, you gain an unfair advantage. You start to see patterns others miss. You start to make decisions others can't. You start to move forward while others remain stuck in confusion. And there is a deeper truth here. When you choose calmness, you are also choosing trust. Trust that every situation has a purpose, that every difficulty has meaning, that nothing happens without a reason written by Allah. Sometimes what looks like a problem is actually protection. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually direction. Sometimes what hurts you is actually shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared. But you will never see that if your mind is always in chaos, because opportunity doesn't always come in the form of comfort. Sometimes it comes disguised as struggle. Sometimes it comes wrapped in difficulty. And only the one who remains calm has the vision to unwrap it. A calm mind doesn't ignore the problem, it understands it. It studies it, it looks beyond it. And in doing so, it finds a way forward that others never even noticed. Because while others are focused on what's going wrong, the calm mind is quietly discovering what can go right. Your reaction determines your results, not the situation. Because life doesn't ask for your permission before it tests you. Situations will come unexpectedly, uncomfortable, and sometimes unfair. But the situation itself is only half the story. The other half, the part that truly shapes your life, is how you respond to it. Two people can face the same hardship. One breaks, the other builds. One complains, the other grows. The difference is not in what happened to them, it's in how they chose to react. Most people believe success or failure is decided by circumstances. But in reality, it's decided in the moments right after the circumstance hits, when your emotions rise, when your thoughts race, when your heart feels pressure. That moment is where your future begins to form. If you react with anger, you lose control. If you react with fear, you stop moving. If you react with doubt, you limit yourself before even trying. But if you respond with patience, with clarity, with faith, everything changes. Because your reaction sets the direction. A negative reaction turns a small problem into a bigger one. A wise reaction turns a difficult situation into a lesson. A strong reaction turns pain into progress. And this is where most people lose. They don't fail because of the situation. They fail because they never learned to manage themselves within it. There is a deep spiritual truth in this. Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear, which means every situation you face is already within your capacity to handle. But the test is not just in enduring it, the test is in how you carry yourself through it. Do you react with frustration or with patience? Do you lose hope or do you hold on to trust? Do you complain or do you reflect? Because every reaction is being seen, every response is being recorded, and every moment of control, every second of patience carries a reward far greater than the situation itself. You might not control what happens to you, but you will always control what happens within you. And that internal response becomes your external reality. Your words, your decisions, your actions, they all come from your reaction. And those actions shape your results. Not instantly, not always visibly, but consistently over time. One calm response can save a relationship. One patient decision can open a door you never expected. One moment of self-control can protect you from years of regret. But one careless reaction can do the opposite. This is why discipline is not just about habit sets, about emotional mastery. It's about training yourself to pause when everything inside you wants to react instantly. It's about choosing your response instead of being controlled by it. And when you reach that level, when you stop letting situations dictate your behavior, you step into a different kind of power, a power where nothing easily shakes you, a power where your peace is not dependent on circumstances, a power where you begin to shape your life intentionally instead of reacting to it unconsciously. Because in the end, it's never just about what happens to you, it's about who you become in response to it. Discipline begins where comfort ends. Because comfort feels safe, but it quietly keeps you stuck. It whispers, stay a little longer, rest a little more, you can start tomorrow. And before you realize it, days turn into months, and months turn into a life that never moved forward. Comfort is not always your friend. Sometimes it is the very thing holding you back from becoming who you were meant to be. Discipline, on the other hand, lives on the other side of that comfort. It begins the moment you choose what is hard over what is easy. The moment you wake up when your body begs you to sleep. The moment you stay consistent when motivation disappears. The moment you keep going when no one is watching. That's where transformation starts. Because anyone can act when they feel like it. Anyone can work when it's convenient. But real growth, real change only happens when you push yourself beyond what feels comfortable. Your comfort zone will never give you more than what you already have. It will keep your life predictable, average, and limited. And deep down, you know you were not created for that. You were created for more. But more requires effort. It requires sacrifice. It requires you to face resistance within yourself, the laziness, the excuses, the fear of discomfort. And this is where discipline becomes your greatest weapon. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about showing up, especially when it's hard. It's about choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when your feelings are against it. There is also a deeper reality. Discipline is a form of obedience. When you control your desires, when you resist what is easy but harmful, when you stay committed to what is right, you are not just building success, you are building character. And Allah loves those who strive, those who are patient, those who push themselves for something greater than comfort. Every moment you step out of ease and into effort, it is seen. Every struggle against your own desires, it is counted. Because the battle is not outside, it is within you. Your biggest enemy is not the world. It is the part of you that chooses comfort over growth. The part that delays, that avoids, that settles. But the moment you begin to discipline yourself, you begin to take control of your life. You stop being a slave to your moods. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop making excuses. And slowly you become someone stronger, someone focused, someone who doesn't break when things get hard because you have trained yourself in discomfort. It won't feel good in the beginning. Discipline is heavy at first. It demands more than you are used to giving. It forces you to face yourself honestly. But over time, it becomes your strength. What once felt hard becomes normal. What once felt impossible becomes routine. What once felt uncomfortable becomes your new standard. And that's when everything changes. Because success is not built in comfort, Ted, it's built in the moments you wanted to quit but didn't. In the days you felt tired but still showed up. In the choices you made when no one else would have known if you stopped, that is where discipline lives. And that is where your new life begins. Don't let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Because emotions come in waves, they rise, they fall, and they pass. But the decisions you make in those moments can stay with you for a lifetime. One moment of anger can break a bond that took years to build. One moment of frustration can make you walk away from something that was meant for you. One moment of sadness can convince you that everything is over, when in reality it's just a phase passing through your heart. This is the danger of acting while your emotions are at their peak. You are not thinking clearly, you are feeling intensely. And intense feelings have a way of blinding you to truth. When you're angry, everything feels like an attack. When you're hurt, everything feels like rejection. When you're afraid, everything feels like a risk you shouldn't take. But those feelings are not permanent, they are temporary states. And if you allow them to control your decisions, you turn something temporary into something lasting. This is why patience is not just a virtue, it is protection. Protection from saying words you cannot take back. Protection from making choices you will regret. Protection from destroying something valuable in a moment of emotional weakness. There is a deep wisdom in pausing, in stepping back, in giving yourself time before you act. Because time cools emotions. Time brings clarity. Time allows your heart and mind to come back into balance. And in that pause, you regain control. You start to see things differently. You start to understand what truly matters. You start to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. From a spiritual perspective, this is where real strength lies. The ability to hold yourself back when your nafs is pushing you forward. The ability to choose silence when your ego wants to speak. The ability to trust Allah's plan instead of reacting out of fear or pain. Because not every feeling deserves a reaction, and not every moment deserves a decision. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is nothing. Just breathe. Just wait. Just trust that this moment will pass, and when it does, you will be grateful you didn't let it control you. Because once a decision is made, it carries consequences. Words spoken in anger cannot be unheard. Actions taken in frustration cannot be undone. Doors closed in haste are not always easy to reopen. This is why awareness is so important. To recognize when you are emotional. To understand when your judgment is clouded. To have the discipline to delay your response until you are calm enough to think clearly. And this takes practice. It takes self-control. It takes humility to admit that in certain moments you are not in the best state to decide. But the more you practice this, the more stable you become. You stop reacting instantly. You stop being controlled by every feeling. You stop making decisions you later regret. Instead, you become someone who moves with intention, someone who acts with clarity, someone who understands that emotions are a part of life, but they are not meant to lead your life. Because the moment you master this, you protect your relationships, your opportunities, and your future from being damaged by feelings that were never meant to last. Growth happens when you respond with patience, not panic. Because panic is instant, but growth is built over time. Panic makes you rush. It clouds your thinking, tightens your chest, and convinces you that everything is falling apart. In that state, you don't act with wisdom, you act with fear. And fear rarely leads you in the right direction. But patience slows everything down. It gives you space to think. It gives you room to breathe. It gives your heart a chance to settle so your mind can see clearly. And in that calm space, growth begins. Every challenge you face carries two paths. One is reaction, the quick, emotional, impulsive response driven by panic. The other is response, the calm, thoughtful, controlled action guided by patience. Most people choose the first path without even realizing it. They panic when things don't go their way. They rush decisions when they feel pressure. They assume the worst when they face uncertainty. And in doing so, they miss the lesson, they miss the opportunity, and they stay exactly where they are. But the one who chooses patience chooses differently. They pause before they speak. They reflect before they act. They trust before they doubt. And that pause, that small moment of control, creates a completely different outcome. Because patience is not about doing nothing, it's about doing the right thing at the right time. It's about holding yourself steady when everything inside you wants to react instantly. It's about understanding that not every problem needs an immediate solution, and not every situation requires a quick answer. Some things need time to unfold. Some answers come with stillness. Some paths become clear only when you stop forcing them. This is where growth hides in the quiet moments where you choose not to panic. There is also a deeper truth in this. Patience is a sign of trust. Trust that Allah's plan is greater than your understanding. Trust that delays are not denials. Trust that even in difficulty, there is wisdom being written for you. When you panic, you act as if everything depends only on you. But when you practice patience, you remember that you are not alone, that there is a plan beyond what you can see. And that realization brings peace. It softens your heart. It strengthens your faith. It gives you the ability to endure without breaking. Because growth is not always loud. It's not always visible. Sometimes growth is happening inside you when you choose calm over chaos, when you choose trust over fear, when you choose patience over panic. And over time, those small choices change you. You become less reactive. You become more aware. You become someone who doesn't fall apart under pressure, but stands firm within it. That is real growth, not just changing your situation, but changing yourself in the process, because the strongest people are not the ones who avoid pressure. They are the ones who remain patient while going through it. The stronger you become internally, the less the outside world can shake you. Because the real battle was never outside, it was always within you. The world will always be unpredictable. People will change. Situations will turn. Plans will fall apart. There will be moments that test your patience, your faith, your confidence. And if your strength depends on everything going right, then every small disturbance will feel like a storm. But when your strength comes from within, everything changes. You stop expecting the world to be easy. You stop depending on people to keep you stable. You stop breaking every time something doesn't go your way, because you have built something inside yourself that doesn't collapse under pressure. Internal strength is not something you're born with, it's something you develop. It's built in the quiet moments when you choose patience over reaction, when you control your anger instead of releasing it, when you stay consistent even when you feel like giving up. It's built every time you face yourself honestly, when you fight your laziness, when you silence your doubts, when you resist your ego. These are the battles no one sees, but they are the ones that define you. And the more you win these internal battles, the less power the external world has over you. Criticism doesn't break you, it refines you. Delays don't frustrate you, they teach you. Failures don't stop you, they strengthen you. Because your foundation is no longer built on circumstances, it is built on control, discipline, and faith. There is a deep spiritual reality in this. True strength is not in physical power or loud confidence, it is in the heart that remains steady. The soul that remains patient, and the mind that stays focused on Allah, no matter what is happening around it. When your connection with Allah becomes strong, the fear of people becomes weak. When your trust in Allah becomes firm, uncertainty loses its grip on you. When your reliance is on Him, the world no longer feels overwhelming. Because you understand that everything outside is temporary, but what you build inside yourself carries eternal value. And this kind of strength cannot be shaken easily. People may doubt you, but you stay grounded. Situations may change, but you stay composed. Pressure may rise, but you don't lose yourself in it. You begin to move through life with a different kind of calm, not because life is easy, but because you are strong enough to handle it. And that strength shows in your silence, in your patience, in your ability to walk away from what disturbs your peace. You no longer react to everything. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself. You no longer allow every opinion, every setback, every moment to control your state of mind. Because you have learned something powerful, the outside world only has as much control over you as you allow it. And when you take that control back, when you build yourself internally, you become someone who is not easily shaken, not easily broken, not easily lost in the noise of life. You become steady, you become grounded, you become unshakable at the end of the day. Life will always test you, but it's not the test that defines you, it's how you respond to it. Stay calm, stay focused, and remember, the person who masters their mind, masters their life.